Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. We are back for the final day of price reveals today. It's going to be a bit of a mad one. I think we are very close. We're very close. Now we should have some price reveals from Leicester. Let's go find them. Are they here? Are they here yet? Yep, they just arrived now, so we're right on time, guys. We're right on time. Here we go. We're going to go play by play. Oh my god. Right, Maddison, 8 million. Like, I'm not even going to lie. I fully expected that. I don't know about you guys, but I saw that one coming a mile off. It just kind of made sense. There's so many players around that kind of price point, all around this same kind of area. I'm going to go back to this page. I know we had a look at this yesterday. In terms of midfielders, we knew like that Bowen, Maddison, Saka, Jota, Mount, these kind of players were all going to go around that 8 million mark because, you know, they're all similar scores last season. So yeah, Maddison, I mean, what did he start off last season? 7 million? Yeah, 7 million he started off last season. But he did have a very good season. His best ever season? Yeah, last season was his best ever season with 181 points. So you're not totally surprised. He has had a price increase, but I do wonder if that maybe prices him out a little bit out of our team. What do you reckon, guys? A little bit too expensive. We'll do the usual. Is that a dub or an L? I think that's an L, to be honest. It kind of just has to be. I just think Leicester are just not quite good enough. Not quite good enough to have an 8 million player. Especially we know they're going to sell players as well before they buy anyway. So I don't think they'll have a better season than last season. But maybe their defense might improve a little bit. All right, next player. Vardy at 9.5. So he has gone down in price. Vardy is a really, really annoying one. When he's playing, he's scores FPL points, doesn't he? He could be a real differential. People in the chat agreeing Maddison is an L. We've got like one dub in there. So an L for Maddison. I think we're mostly agreeing on that. Vardy 9.5. If you get him at the right time, that's an okay price. But I mean, who's gonna take that risk? Probably not many people. It's one of those risks that could potentially come up trumps and reward you. Let's have a look at the remind ourselves of the fixtures, I guess. So Leicester play against Brentford, then Arsenal, then Southampton, then Chelsea, then Man United. That's not the worst run of fixtures, to be fair, for Leicester. It could be better, but it could be worse. Vardy is pretty fixture-proof anyway. I think it could be a. It's like a mid. It's like not an L. It's not a dub. It's like a mid. The question is Vardy going to start getting phased out of the team? You could imagine him starting like slowly, Iheanacho and Patson Daka obviously getting a bit more game time, and Vardy slowly being phased out just because of his age. You know, Steels in the chat has correctly identified that Vardy is 35 years old. That is that's pretty. It is pretty old. Whenever he played last season, he did well. Like, let's go have a look at how well he actually scored. I mean, out of forwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. He was the 7th highest scoring forward, despite the fact that he was injured most of the season. So, like, if you look how much he was injured, he only played about half the games in the Premier League. And whenever he was playing, like, for example, like, look at the end of this season, game week 36 to 38, 2 goals in 36, 2 goals in 37. Fair enough, they were against Norwich and Watford. And then another goal and assists against Southampton. Again, yeah, it's Southampton. So maybe when he gets minutes, he just does well, doesn't he? Even against Burnley. But to be fair, all of these goals, 2 goals against Watford, they're coming against the smaller teams here. No goals against Man City. 1 goal against Man United, but, you know, Man United were in a terrible place back then. But most of his big performances seem to be against small opponents. You know, Norwich there, Burnley, Watford, then Watford again later on in the season, Norwich later on in the season, Southampton. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It could be okay. It could be okay. Paddy Lee says, this is my first time watching you live, but I've watched all the replays so far. Thank you so much for watching those replays. I know they're like 2 hours long, so no, I really appreciate that. It's, I don't hate this price. I actually don't hate this price. Where did he start out last season? He started last season at 10.5. When he plays, he scores. It's just going to be about getting him at the right time. Maybe getting him for those nice fixture runs, I guess. Barnes at 7 million. That's about right. Oh, he's looking very strong. He's flexing his muscles there, the young man. What do we think about Barnes at 7 million? I think that's just probably again about right. I wouldn't mind Barnes at 6.5. I would be pretty happy to go from at 6.5. Gideon says you're drinking Ribena again, mate. It's not. It's Asda's own blackcurrant squash. I'm not interested in any of that posh stuff. Asda brand. Apparently, Ericsson has verbally agreed to join Manchester United, according to David Ornstein, which is good. Barnes is okay. Barnes is okay at 7. I'm not excited about it, but it's okay. And then the rest of the boys. So, Schmeichel 5, Fafana 4.5, Justin 4.5. You know what? Justin at 4.5 is not the worst. Can you guys remember, when was it? Not last season, the season before, when Justin was fit and he was just, absolutely killing it. Let's have a look. Remind ourselves, because I swear he got so many. I mean, it's probably not going to give us the full breakdown, is it? But yeah, he was absolutely flying a couple of seasons ago. I wonder if he can recapture that form. I say flying, 2 goals and 2 assists, which is not too bad at all, really. And he was getting clean sheets as well. 2 goals, 2 assists, and 9 clean sheets. It's going to depend on clean sheets, really, for Leicester. I don't know if they're still that clean sheet machine of a team. And I don't know if they can really afford to buy more defenders. There's some interesting forward options here. Daka at 6 million and Iheanacho at 6.5. Those have both gone down quite a lot there, actually. I quite like that. I quite like those prices. If they can get regular game time. I don't know what formation Leicester are going to play, though. Is it going to be a kind of a 5-3-2 or a 5-2-1-2? Maddison in behind the two strikers? Or are we going to have more of a wingers situation where, we've got Barnes on one side, Maddison on the other side, and Vardy in the middle. If Vardy is phased out and Daka or Iheanacho can get some regular play time, those prices are actually some of the better forward prices I've seen. I fully expected both of those guys to be annoying 7 million prices, but actually that's okay. They're both good strikers on their day as well. They just have to have game time. And it's this Leicester forwards is always going to come down to game time. Maddison is a lock, but Vardy, Daka, and Iheanacho, it's just going to be too. It's going to be a bit too techie to try and work out which guys are going to be playing and which guys aren't. In terms of the other defenders, you're not going to go for Fafana at 4.5 when you can get Justin at 4.5. You're probably not going to go for Ricardo at 4. I mean, if Ricardo was 4.5 a couple of years ago, then that would be an amazing price. But it's not a couple of years ago, is it? He has been an insane defender at times, but I don't really know what's going on with Ricardo. I don't know if he's going to be getting regular playing time or not. Is he going to be a lock at right back and Justin at left back? Leicester with 4 at the back. Yeah, I mean, if Leicester are playing 4 at the back, then I guess Justin and Ricardo are not quite as interesting as they have been in the past. All right, okay. Maybe the Leicester defenders are just not quite the ones. Dewsbury Hall at 5 million is okay. But who spends 5 million on a midfielder? You just don't really. It's just not a price point anyone goes in at. You go for a 4.5 million midfielder and put him on the bench, or you spend a bit more. You spend 5.56 million, and then you play the midfielder. So I don't know. Not really convinced by that one. Tielemans 6.5. All right, he's set piece merchant, I guess. And yeah, like I say, Daka, Iheanacho, okay if they get some game time. John Johnny says, how is Schmeichel the same price as Mendy? I mean, you're so right. It's a weird situation they've done with the goalkeepers because they've made so many goalkeepers just unpickable. I mean, I think so many of us are just going to go for Mendy for our goalkeeper because Mendy is 5 million. French? Fenech says Ricardo is the one. Count Sealaw says, in general, I prefer Fofana as an option purely because the fullbacks rotate far too much. I think Justin is nailed. Probably. He just had some injury problems, didn't he? Gerber says, hasn't Ricardo been injured? Yeah, he's been on and off, hasn't he? He's been on and off injured. Louis Martin says, can't understand Ricardo being cheaper than Schmeichel. Neither can I. Ben Pivetta says, skip Leicester, to be honest. Harry Jones says, Eriksen to United, thoughts. Depends on his price. I mean, in terms of FPL, thoughts on Eriksen. Clearly a fantastic player. Let's see. I'm probably not going to be hopping on Man United assets immediately, though. Drizzle says Maddison will have a storming season. Possibly. Paddy Lee says, who is going to be the 4.5 midfielder this year? We don't know. We actually don't know. Marco Leary says Schmeichel outscored Mendy last season. Let's just... This is a thing. I think people have got it twisted a little bit about Mendy because he missed a couple of games. Obviously, there was AFCON. Where was that? AFCON was these 3 games here. You know, even if you add like just 2 points for playing to each of those games to give him a total score of, what is he on? So it will give him a total score of 136. That would put him up level with Fabianski, and it will put him as the 5th best goalkeeper. If you add maybe a clean sheet to that, and maybe consider that he also missed another 1-2 games, maybe? No, just another 1 game. You know, you kind of put him in the region of Sa. And then you consider the fixtures. Chelsea have phenomenal fixtures as well. Everton, Spurs, Leeds, Leicester, Southampton. And suddenly Mendy at 5 million just looks absolutely insane. It's pretty mad. I'm not going to lie. Mendy is pretty much a lock in my team at this point, particularly as what we saw with the Spurs prices. I mean, Lloris. I said Lloris is probably the only player that could challenge him if Lloris was also 5 million, but that was not the case. Let's go through the Spurs fixtures as well. That's fixtures. The Spurs price reveals. I was pretty disappointed in general, but there is one player I'm really excited about from this Spurs team. So, Kane, 11.5 million forward. I mean, it's not bad. It's $1 million cheaper than last season. There's a lot of argument to go for Kane instead of Haaland. To the point where I would genuinely consider going Kane over Haaland. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but there's a debate there, isn't there? There is a debate there. I would say that in general, people will lean towards Haaland because he plays for Man City and he's class. But Kane ended last season quite well, to be fair. Top scoring forward of the game. Much better score than Cristiano Ronaldo in the end, even though Kane was considered to have a bad season. I mean, Kane did nothing for the entire first half of the season. Second half of the season, there was some disappointing blanks, but in general, so halfway point of the season is game week 19, right? So from there, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 double-digit returns. So in almost half of his games, not quite half of his games, he had double-digit returns, which is very, very good. Very good. Even if those returns are from assists. Remember, he's on penalties as well. He gets extra bonus points if he scores goals. Forward slot is going to be a difficult position to fill anyway, so you're going to have to go for someone. I would genuinely consider Kane over Haaland. I'm not quite sure. They're the same price. It's going to be a bit of a differential split somewhere. Like half people might go for Haaland, half people might go for Kane. Let's see. But I'm definitely tempted at 11.5. If Kane was 11, it would be a little bit unrealistic. But if Kane was 11, then I would probably be going for him over Haaland, but he's not. So, yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Right, on to Heung-min Son. Massive price rise here. Massive price rise here. It's disappointing. He's coming a little bit more expensive than I think people predicted. He was the second highest scoring player. He did score really well. He was on absolute fire, wasn't he? 12 million though, is that just a little bit too expensive? I don't know, guys. What do you think about Son at 12 million? Are you disappointed by that? Are you thinking, yeah, no, that's fine. I'm happy to go for Son at 12 million? Because I know before Son's price reveal, a lot of people are really excited about Son and like saying, 100% going for Son in my team, has to, he must have player. Has the 12 million price tag changed that at all? A few people in the chat saying already, Sophie, Drizzle, Jad saying too much. Yeah. AMR saying he deserves it, but I am disappointed. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. You can't really complain that he's 12 million. He was the second highest scoring player in FPL last season. He was the joint top goal scorer. He's a midfielder still. The problem is he's not on penalties, and I think that edge is going to be a bit of a difference. V-Zone says, nah, he was top scorer and on set pieces. Yeah, I mean, corners as well. Corners and free kicks. Magic69 says, Son's price may come down as the season progresses, possibly. Owen says, prefer Haaland. Alex says, max 11 million. Frederick, too much, but I can see why. I think we're kind of all in agreement here. We understand why he's 12 million. But are we confident we're going to go for him at 12 million? Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I think I prefer, if I had to go for one of Son or Kane, I would go for Kane, I think. Kane is now finally cheaper than Son. That was always a big deciding factor. Son allowed you to spend an extra 2 million elsewhere. But now he doesn't. He actually is more expensive than Kane. Kane is on penalties. Kane takes up a forwards position. This season, last season we thought, oh, well, we don't really like forwards. This season it's going to be exactly, well, by the looks of things, by the way they've priced up forwards in general, it's going to be a similar situation. There's not too many interesting forwards to go for. So just the fact that Kane occupies a forward slot, I think is a huge difference maker. Magic69 says Son is a better option than KDB, and I do agree with that. KDB at 12 million is just like a non-option in my opinion. Again, I understand why it's been priced in that way, but, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be going for KDB. I mean, there may be a point in the season where KDB is a good pick to go for, but to start off the season, I'm not really feeling it. Yeah, I think, yeah, we're all agreeing here. We're all agreeing here on the Son pricing, and what it kind of means. Now, this is the one. This is the one, and we're going to go on to transfer market in a second. Perisic, 5.5 million defender. What was he being predicted at? 6 million. Yeah, he was being predicted at 6 million by most people, and he's actually cheaper than that at 5.5, and he is not a midfielder, a defender. He is listed as a defender, even though he's basically a forward who plays in defence. Even more so under Conte. Conte, oh my word. Conte loves wing-backs that are basically forwards. The Conte system is all about getting those wing-backs so far forward. We saw that at the end of the season, particularly with Doherty. We saw it a little bit with Sessegnon and Reguilon, even though those guys maybe, their finishing wasn't so good. Emerson's finishing not so good as well. If they have a good finisher, those two fullbacks are just going to be pinging the balls to one another across the goal. Perisic is going to be in the box, despite being a defender, and is a phenomenal phenomenal finisher. He is a forward. He plays as a forward for Croatia. He's played as a forward for a lot of his career. Perisic is Conte's boy as well. Played under him at Inter. Is he nailed? I think when the Champions League rolls around, we may see some rotation with Sessegnon, but Sessegnon is not a player. Conte likes Sessegnon, but I don't think Conte sees Sessegnon as the solution to winning games necessarily. I wouldn't say Sessegnon is going to be first choice. Perisic will be first choice. Nailed is a difficult question. It's difficult for me to say. I would hope that he is. I would predict that he is, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. But yeah, what we're saying, guys. Perisic, huge dub. We think. I think it's a huge dub. People asking about Doherty on the other side because let's just quickly go to these other players. Doherty is 5 million. Is he going to be nailed? Not 100% sure because they've still got Emerson Royale at the club, and also they're like in talks of signing Jed Spence as well. So is Doherty going to rotate with Spence? Quite possibly. Just going back onto Perisic before we go on to the other players, because I do want to make sure we're maintaining focus. I'm back on transfermarkt.co.uk, one of my favourite websites, you know. Let's have a look at his stats. Like, he gets a lot of goal contributions, my friends. A lot of goal contributions. He even played a few games, well, one game as second striker last season, where he scored. So you never know. You could actually genuinely see Perisic, the odd game, actually playing in a forward position as a left winger. Like, can you imagine? If Son gets injured or something, or Kulusevski gets injured, someone gets injured, we could see Perisic playing on the wing. You know, possibly playing as a forward. Probably going to be Richarlison more likely. But you never know. There could be the odd game where Perisic plays as in a much more forward position, despite being listed as a defender, which is just absolutely insane, right? But last season, in 48 games, he scored 10 goals and 9 assists. That's a goal contribution every other game, pretty much. Well, not quite, but almost. A goal contribution every other game, plus clean sheets. Like, how mad is that? How mad is that? I know you guys have probably seen on screen that it says left midfield. He primarily played at left midfield, but that's left midfield with a back three. So it's kind of, you know, what we call a left wing back, I guess. So even though it says left midfield, it's actually more like left wing back, which is exactly where he's going to play for Spurs. It's going to be good. This is a real big dub, I think, guys. A real big dub. Yeah, get excited. Get excited. The season before that, under Conte, this was the season where Conte was manager, right? 4 goals, 5 assists. Playing some of those games at second striker, left wing, attacking midfielder as well. Centre forward even for a game. So, yeah, not bad. Not bad. We saw him in the Euros as well, playing as a winger. In 3 games in the Euros, he got 2 goals and 1 assist. So a goal contribution per game at the Euros. So pretty mad, you know. Pretty mad. Like, that's a very good price. I know, like, some people are going to be not completely convinced by this. You know, new player coming into the Premier League. People thinking about, like, Reguilon. I don't think Conte rates Reguilon. I just don't think he thinks Reguilon is the solution to that left side. Like, Perisic is a very Conte player. A very Conte player. People saying that Eriksen has agreed to join United. Yeah, we've seen a little bit of that already. So yeah, Man United fans, Christian Eriksen, that's a big signing for you guys. Yeah, Perisic is very much a Conte signing, a Conte kind of player, which is why I think he'll start and why he'll be nailed, because he has that experience, which Conte likes in his fullbacks. I don't know why, he likes an experienced fullback, you know, like an Ashley Young, or, for example, Inter. But he likes basically a converted winger to play at fullback, but a player with experience as well, which kind of fits the mould of Perisic as well. Perisic, two-footed. Very two-footed, can play with both feet, which means, you know, if crosses are coming in, he can score on his left foot, you know, or if he picks up the ball, he can, you know, takes a couple of touches, he can shoot with his right foot, kind of either across the goal or into the near post. So, yeah, I really like this one. I really like this one. And he's another one of those players who, when you first see these prices of these players, you just kind of, some of them just stand out as players you're like, yeah, this player's going to be in my Game Week 1 team. And there's only been a few of those players. Salah, Trent, Mendy, and now Perisic. I think those 4 players are players who are like, you know, I can make 100 drafts for game week 1, but those 4 players are going to they're going to be there to stay. They're going to be there to stay. On to the other players, guys. Lloris 5.5. I mean, Edison's 5.5 as well, isn't he? Edison doesn't really get bonus points or save points, though. That's the only problem. Alisson's 5.5 as well, but you're not really going to go for him. I just don't know if you spend 5.5 on Lloris when there's so many... well, I mean, if you've got Mendy at 5, you're probably not going to go for Lloris at 5.5. 0.5 million is a lot of money in game week 1. Let me say that. Liam Calvin says the reason why Conte signed Perisic is because he can act as a left winger, with Davies acting as a left back, forming a temporary 4-2-3-1 during attack. Reguilon can't do that. He's dumped. Lam, you're completely you're pretty much spot on with that one. But it does kind of work both ways in the Conte system, because the right-sided fullback will also push on as well. But yeah, it doesn't always turn into a kind of a lopsided attack. Often, at times, both fullbacks are far up the pitch. They don't really play as fullbacks, like I keep saying. They play as wingers. They don't play as wingbacks. They play as wingers. But their starting position is at wingbacks, and their defensive position is at wingbacks. You need players who have a really good engine as well if you're going to do that. And Perisic's engine is very good. Very fit player, can get up and down the pitch very, very, very nicely. Yeah, Lloris at 5.5 probably is not going to happen. Of course, also said Perisic covers your Spurs defender. Don't need Lloris as well. Yeah, absolutely spot on. And arguably, Perisic covers your Spurs attack as well. I think if you've got Perisic, it gives you less of a need to go for a Son or a Kane, because Perisic is going to be very much involved in the attack. Sessegnon 4.5. Yeah, I don't think he's going to start unless there's an injury. Dyer at 5 million. Yeah, you're not going to go for Dyer at 5 million when there's so many 4.5 million options that are very good. And there's a lot of 5 million options that are very good. There's a lot of 5.5 million options that are very good. There's a lot of good, very well-priced players around the 5 million mark. So Dyer is probably not one of those players. Doherty, 5 million. If he gets game time, fantastic. If Jed Spence signs for Spurs, maybe not so much. Romero, 5 million. Spend the extra money and get Perisic. Bentancur, 5.5 million, defensive midfielder. Højbjerg, 5.5 million. You can create a little bit, but again, defensive midfielder, probably not going to be going in on those guys. 5.5 million, you're spending it on Perisic, right? And Kulusevski finally. Is 8 million. What do we think, guys? Because Kulusevski was so popular last season. And he did do really, really well. But 8 million is a tough price. Let's have a look and remind ourselves of Kulusevski's kind of returns. He did do very well, but did he do 8 million well? I mean, he is young as well. Kulusevski is a young player, so he can get better. He got 4 double-digit returns in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 games. 18 games, 5 goals, 9 assists. That is really good, to be fair. That's 14 goal contributions in 19 games, or 18 games, whatever I said. It is nice. It's nice. We can't say that those are bad results, because they are bad results, and he's only going to get better. He's only, 21, 22? You can't really complain about that price. The difficulty is kind of Richarlison going to come on games, even if Richarlison's coming on as a sub, or Perisic is moving as winger at certain points. Is Kulusevski going to be playing, particularly with the 5 sub rules? Is he going to get as many minutes as he did last season? Even though last season he was a player who was often subbed off quite early, and Spurs were happy to rotate him as well at the right moments. I think he's slightly too expensive. 7.5, I think we'd be thinking about him. 8 million is just slightly too expensive. They've done him dirty, haven't they? Swella Pele says, they did Kulu wrong with that 8 million price tag. He was in my team for 7.5, but not for 8 million. Yeah, I think you're right. Ilan says, for 8 million, you can go for better options, I think. Yeah. We've got Mason Mount at 8 million. We've got Bukayo Saka at 8 million. We've got Diaz. We've got Luis Diaz at 8 million. I mean, who are you taking? Diaz or Kulusevski at 8 million? Joshua says, second most returns since joining the league. Yeah, I know. Leo says, Kulusevski can play at right wing back as well. He can. Like, I understand why he's 8 million, but I'm probably not going to go for it. Kunal says, Dan, would you go for 3 premium players? The threemium, if you will. No, I wouldn't personally. But you can. So there you go. There's some Spurs players. Overall, I think it's interesting. The 2 standouts for me, I think, are Kane at 11.5. Obviously, Son, I don't think Son is a standout, but obviously he's a player that we have to consider. Perisic at 5.5 is, amazing. That's really good. Aside from that, Doherty, if Spence doesn't sign for Spurs, is a good option. But I mean, I'm just going to go for Perisic, so it kind of irrelevant. I don't know. Kane and Perisic, I think, are players most likely to be in my Game Week 1 team. Those 2 players. Perisic for sure, Kane possibly. Right, let's check out some prices from last night. Actually, I think the only prices that we didn't do yesterday was Bournemouth. I know it's not incredibly interesting, but we'll have a look. Solanke, 6 million. He did well last season. I think he scored 20 plus goals, didn't he? Last season in the Championship. Can he do that in the Premier League? He hasn't done that in the Premier League so far in previous seasons. Bournemouth, they haven't signed a new striker, have they? So last season in the Championship, Solanke scored 29 goals and 7 assists. That's pretty good. That's kind of like Tony levels. Einar says, aren't we forgetting Richarlison? I don't know. Like, Richarlison has not been brought in to be a starting player. Particularly with this new 5 sub rule, he has been brought in to be primarily a sub. Playing a couple of games, don't get me wrong, but primarily as a sub. Maybe coming on at end of games to be a bit of a finisher, to use a rugby term. But yeah, back to Solanke. 6 million is it's a cheap price, It's a cheap price. Like, you can't complain too much. He did very well in the Championship last season. Is that because he's improved? Or is it because he's one of those players who smashes it in the Championship but kind of falls a little bit short in the Premier League? Because let me tell you guys, his Premier League record is not so good. This is the season before in the Championship. 15 goals, 11 assists. Respectable. Season before that in the Prem, I believe. Yes. So 32. So this is a few years ago. He was a little bit younger because he's still quite young, isn't he? 24 years old. So he would have been 22 at this point. Maybe even 21. In 32 games, 3 goals and 1 assist. It's not good enough. Don't get me wrong, it's not good enough. But that's a couple of years ago. It's a couple of years ago. He could have improved. I'm not going to take a risk on him. I want to see him. But, I mean, I think we should give him a chance. I think we should keep our minds open a little bit to see if he got better. Season before that, 10 games in the Premier League, no goals. Season before that, he might have been not even playing. Oh, no, he was playing. 21 games. I think that was a lot of sub appearances, though, to be fair. Yeah, it's almost exclusively sub appearances. Yeah. Not very good. But, this was when he was a teenager. So, are we really going to judge him based on that? At the end of the day, last season he had his best ever season. He's improved even by Championship standards. Give him a chance. I'm not saying he's going to score that many goals in the Premier League. But if he's good for 10 million, if he's good for 10 goals in the Premier League, then that's not the end of the world. It's really not the end of the world. 10 goals for 6 million, if you own him at the right moments, could be okay. But we'll see. Well, he's one to keep an eye on. Fixtures are not good for Bournemouth, to be fair. Aston Villa at home, but then Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, even Wolves. I've put down as a green fixture, but if you're an attacker, you're probably not seeing Wolves as a green fixture, are you? You're probably saying that's a little bit of a slightly tough one. So, yeah, we're not going to be owning Bournemouth players at the beginning of the season anyway, to be fair. But let's keep an eye on him. Let's keep an eye on him. Travers 4.5, yeah, not going to happen. Zamora 4.5. Yeah, this is another, like what I was saying yesterday, ranting about yesterday. The fact that, 4.5 million defenders from Bournemouth are the same price as 4.5 million defenders, at Arsenal or Wolves or at Brentford or at Brighton. Like, realistically, who are you going to pick? So they've kind of been priced out. Zamora actually had like some good returns last season, to be fair. I think if there wasn't so many other good options at 4.5 million, we'd be considering him. Because I think he actually did okay for assists last season. 3 assists, 1 goal. Yeah, okay, maybe not quite as good as I thought it was in my head. But it could be worse. Could be worse. Wait, unless that's... Yeah, maybe that's over multiple seasons. Hang on, let's just check last season. No, 33, yeah, 33. Yeah, that's... I mean, it's 1 goal in every 10 games. But in the Championship, yeah, maybe not. I mean, realistically, there's so many other 4.5 million defenders. We're just not going to touch these Bournemouth guys. Such a shame. Ryan Fredericks, Lloyd Kelly, Cook at 5 million. Anthony, Billing, Brooks all at 5.5 million. Christie at 5.5 million as well. Moore at 5.5 million. It's not happening. How well did Moore do? I don't know how to spell his first name. Kiefer Moore. Welsh legend. Last season, how well did he do? Because that is that's a cheap price. 5.5 million. We're looking for 21-22. 26 games, 9 goals for assists. Yeah. Maybe not. Had a lot of injury problems last season by the looks of things. It's probably not. But I think overall it's just like, lots of L's everywhere here. Solanke is the big one, but I mean the big one in a very small pond. Big is probably a bit of an exaggeration, to be honest. Pretty mad. Of course, there's Brooks is the gem for me, free up some cash. Yeah, but Brooks is the same price as Neto. And it's in a straight battle between Brooks and Neto seems really obvious, doesn't he? How good were Brooks' stats last season? I mean, he has played in the Premier League as well, hasn't he? I can't remember what his stats were like in the Premier League. Let's have a little. We'll have a little bit of scouting. We'll do a bit of scouting whilst we're on stream. Primarily a right winger. Last season he didn't even play. He was ill. He was unavailable for like basically the entire season. Season before that, a lot of injuries again. 5 goals, 6 assists in the Championship. I don't know, man. I don't know if he's the FPL asset we want. Again, the season before that, ankle injury pretty much the whole season. That was in the Premier League, right? I mean, I swear he banged at one point, though. Maybe when he was really young. Yeah, season before that in the Premier League, 7 goals, 5 assists. A long time ago. Tom Hill says Brooks has just recovered from cancer. Not sure how much he's been playing. Yeah, who knows? I mean, incredible that he's recovered from cancer, though. Like, to be fair. Yeah. FPL though, I don't know. I actually like Bournemouth. It's very difficult to pick from these Bournemouth players when you've got players from bigger teams coming in at much better prices, similar prices. Sorry. So yeah. All right. Okay. Well, we're caught up on prices. People are still in the chat talking about Eriksen. So yeah, another shout out. Yes, Eriksen is going to go to Manchester United. Let's refresh on this bad boy. And yeah, let's build a team. Let's build a team again. Our daily team build, daily team building exercise, I guess. So we've got a few locks, like I say, or what I can currently consider locks. So I'm just going to put them in straight away, which are Salah, Trent, Mendy, and now Perisic at 5.5. My gosh, it's a good price for him. After that, we need a 4 million goalkeeper. I keep going for Olsen. One of the Olsen twins. As a shout out to the Olsen twins. No, I think he's a good goalkeeper. In terms of backup goalkeepers, it could be a lot worse. We need a 4.5 million forward. I don't know who it will end up being, but we'll go for Sam Greenwood for now. We're probably going to have... I'm going to say we're probably going to have a 4.5 million midfielder. I don't know who that'll end up being, though, at this point. We don't know about any 4.5 million midfielders. I don't know. Midfielders at 4.5 million, it's tough. There might not be any decent ones, to be fair, in which case I might just, not even bother. They put Nakamba as a 4.5, Douglas Luiz as a 4.5. These guys are not going to play. So, MacArthur, is he going to play? Possibly. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. Let's put... we just need a dud. Let's just put a 4.5 million dud in there and we'll just hope... we can always reevaluate when the game actually comes out. People saying Gordon at Everton is going to be... Gordon at Everton is not going to be at 4.5 million. There's no way he stays at 4.5 million. These prices, a lot of these prices on this website are just predictions. They're not official prices. I say this every day. People say, oh, go for Dewsbury Hall. We know now that he's not 4.5 million. Go for Gordon. There's no way that Gordon is going to be 4.5 million. Go for Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz is not even going to be playing for Aston Villa. They've brought in Kamara to replace him, basically. I wouldn't be surprised if Douglas Luiz actually transferred out of Aston Villa, so he's not going in. People saying Graben, best 4.5 million forward. He's not going to be 4.5 million. So many of these players that are on this website, they're just predictions, and they're just, it's just wrong. A lot of them are just they're just ported in prices from last season or just stuck them at a random price. We have to try and be realistic here. Gelhardt, we know, is 5.5 million, isn't he? So yeah, I'm not gonna trick myself and trick you guys into thinking some of these guys are 4.5 million options when they're just not. Right, and then I guess in this form, it depends what formation we go for. I'm thinking currently a 4-4-2 to be flexible, or a 5-4-1. A 5-4-1 would be less flexible though. I can do a flexi 4-4-2 as well though, by going for Tomiyasu at 4.5, or maybe even a Johnny or an Aitnori. But Tomiyasu is probably the player, isn't he? Right, so okay, this is looking good. We need a Man City defender. I'm going to go actually for Laporte. I know people are going to say, Cancelo, what about Cancelo? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I want to go for Laporte, particularly if Cucurella signs. I know I say this every day. If you guys are watching these streams every day, you're probably hearing me repeat myself a lot. But Laporte is nailed. He is good for a headed goal or an assist. He's very good for a clean sheet. And if Cancelo is either getting rotated with Cucurella at left back or playing off the right, then that's just not going to bring as good returns. I mean, to be fair, rather than Tomiyasu, I could actually go for maybe a Justin or a... Let's go for Johnny, because the good thing is, if I'm having them as a bench player, I can kind of just rotate them in and out whenever I feel like it and play them whenever I feel like it. Tomiyasu is one of those players who he's pretty much good for a clean sheet every game week. Whereas if I go for a Johnny, I can just play him in the easy fixtures. But I don't know. I'm not 100% sure Johnny plays every game. I'm not 100% sure. Let's leave it with Tomiyasu for now. We can always revisit that one. So we've got one more position in defence. I've kind of got two options. Right, let's keep filling let's keep filling these positions. So we want Neto at 5.5, probably the best 5.5 million option. We want Martinelli, who is probably the best 6 million option at midfield. So both real nice bargains there. And then after that, we probably want Undav at 5.5. And then finally, we've got basically, this is, I think, is a really nice base of a team. A really nice base of a team. I think after this, we kind of have some options. We either go, so for the defender and the midfield slot, we either go for like Chilwell and Diaz, or we go for Robertson and Mount, or possibly Saka. Now, I am still leaning towards going for Robertson over Diaz. If it wasn't for the fact that defender slots are so precious and there's so many other nice defenders to go for, I would be going for Robertson. Robertson I prefer. People saying surely James. I mean, it's up to you. James, Chilwell. It's up to you. Like, I said this in yesterday's stream. If I put James in my draft, everyone's going to be like, yeah, fine. But if I put Chilwell in my team, everyone's going to say, why go for Chilwell, not James? It's never the other way around. It's never the other way around. But there's nothing wrong with Chilwell. I mean, I don't think like James is a much better option than Chilwell. I think they're both good options. There's not really much in it. I think I slightly prefer Chilwell. Just like seeing when Chilwell was playing last season, it really was quite crazy. He was playing as a striker. It was quite mad. The only concern that pushes me away from the Chelsea fullbacks is the potential for them to switch to a 4 at the back formation. Why not both? Well, I mean, there's not enough slots to go for both. If you're going to go for both, you've got to sacrifice either Perisic or a Man City defender, and that's not something I'm going to do. Also, Mendy, you've already got Mendy in there as a defensive cover for Chelsea. Someone says do a poll. There's no point doing a poll, because if I do a poll on James versus Chilwell, everyone will go for James because James because James played more last season and people have seen more of James and people know James a little bit more. But if you watch those few games that Chilwell played for Chelsea, you will know that he is every bit, if not more dangerous than James. He was taking so many shots. He was shooting from anywhere. His confidence was sky high. He was playing so far up the pitch, whereas James was actually dropping into kind of the midfield positions a little bit more and maybe going to the byline a little bit more as well, rather than being in the box all the time, whereas Chilwell was constantly in the box. Whereas James occupies a variety of positions on the right-hand side. Chilwell was just pick the ball up, either edge of box or in the box, and shoot. Shoot. So that's just my opinion. Like, I don't think there's much in it between them. I think they're both good options. But I know if I put a poll out, everyone will just say James. And I don't want to create this illusion that James is a far better option than Chilwell, because I don't agree with that. Yepe says, do a poll about whether or not to do a poll. It's a good option. Felix says, Chilwell was injured long term. I generally dislike players who have been injured for a long time. You say that, but James has had injury problems throughout his entire career. Chilwell just got one unlucky injury. The argument of James is better because he doesn't get injured is as much as Chilwell. It's just like complete nonsense. And also, Alonso's leaving Chelsea, isn't he? Has he already left? Possibly. So Chilwell is the only left back at Chelsea. So there you go. there's some facts for you. But again, the draw of Robertson to me is just so much. I really like Robertson. I really, really like him. So much so that I might just go for a 5 at the back and just get everyone I want. But you just lose flexibility here if you do this. Oh wait, no, don't do that, Daniel. Don't do that, Daniel. So that leaves us with 20 million to spend on 2 positions if we do it this way, which is ridiculous that we have that amount of budget left. It's just dumb that we have this much budget left. I mean, look at this defence. Alexander-Arnold, Perisic, Laporte, Robertson and Chilwell. Mad. So basically, I mean, what we like look at, right, for example, this forward position is going to be either Kane or Haaland. So one of Kane or Haaland. This position is going to be one of their many 8 million midfielders. I should not be able to make this team. This team has 10 out of 11 players playing for top 5 teams. It has 9 out of 11 players playing for top 4 teams. It has 7 out of 11 players playing for top 3 teams. Don't you find that so mad? Don't you find that just so crazy? And we still have 0.5 in the bank. We still have 0.5 in the bank after doing that. Is this guy just? Does this look as crazy to you as it does to me? How am I allowed this team? How am I allowed? I should not be allowed this team. Mez says yes, but the midfield is rubbish. Is it? The midfield has Salah, the best player in the Premier League, well, the best FPL asset in the Premier League, certainly, even if you don't think he's the best player. We've got Mahrez, who has one of the best, goal contributions per 90 ratios in the Premier League, like top 3 best goals per 90 or goal contribution per 90. Martinelli, who is, a starting left winger for a top side, who took a penalty at the end of last season, is going to be even more dangerous with the likes of Jesus. Jesus' technical ability is going to make players like Martinelli a lot better. We've got Neto, who is an incredible football player that people have forgotten about just because he got injured last season. I'm going to sneeze. We're going to do our first sneeze of the stream, guys. It's not an FPL Mate stream if I don't sneeze at least once. And we've got Harry Kane up front. Nishal says Martinelli and Neto are overhyped. They're overhyped because they're prices. No one would be hyping up Neto if he was 6.5. No one would be hyping up Martinelli if he was 7 million, 7.5 million. Martinelli is not nailed necessarily, but he's pretty close. He's first choice. Mahrez is becoming more nailed by the minute. Jesus was playing at right wing for a lot of last season. Sterling was playing at right wing for a lot of last season. Both players are off. Both of those right wingers, which means Mahrez is one of the only right wingers. The only other thing is maybe Alvarez plays at the new signing Alvarez. Maybe plays at right winger. But yeah, there's other options there. There is other options. You could. Oh my word. Right, here's another one for you guys. We could go Kai and Son. If you prefer that. Do you prefer that? Because that's pretty mad. Even that. I know people are not going to be too hyped up about Havertz, but it's not a bad option. Could be worse. We could just give up on the forward slot completely. Just stick Undav there and spend even more money elsewhere. We could go for I don't know. We could forget about the Spurs attack and you basically just say, oh, Perisic is our Spurs attacker. Go Haaland up front, and then we could go for anyone here. We could go for Mason Mount here. We could go for Kulusevski here. We could go for Saka. We could go for Bowen. Bowen here. There's loads of options in this slot. Paddy Lee says you should make a custom sneeze time emoji. God's sake. But do you see my point? So I think if you're going to go for this formation, if you're going to go 5 at the back formation, I think that the goalkeeper is a lock. That defence is pretty much a lock for me. You're going to go for Salah because he's Salah. You're going to go for Neto and Martinelli because they're such good prices. And then you've got 2 flexi positions in Bowen and Haaland where you can kind of mix it up a little bit. And yeah, like there's just some good options. People saying Jesus. I think Jesus is going to be priced pretty horribly, to be fair. I think he's going to come in at like 8.59, which is just not the one. Like how you can say that Chelsea don't have a single player above 8 million, the third, finishing third in the Premier League, and then they are inevitably going to put Jesus as like 9 million playing for Arsenal. Like, I'm an Arsenal fan, no disrespect to Arsenal, but we're not good enough to have it. We're not good enough that you'd price our players higher than you'd price Chelsea players in attack. Chelsea's attackers are better. William Morris says people seem to be expecting Undav to be a decent option. I'm predicting he flops big time. Yeah, but 5.5 million, take the punt. Like, who else are we going to go for in the forward position? This is the problem. You either put a dud in there, a 4.5 million player who is going to get you 0 points every single game week, and basically have no bench whatsoever, or you take a punt on a player who is basically so cheap it doesn't really matter if they flop, and spend that money elsewhere. Yeah, I mean, this is just this team is ridiculous. Like I said, I should not be allowed this team. Maybe we want to get on the Kulusevski, well, just get on the Spurs attack somehow, and do something like that. This is a good team. I to be honest, I don't think I'm going to start with Mahrez, and I do want to have. I think I want to have a Man City attacker because I look at these fixtures. There's just like a couple of fixtures in here. In the first 5 for Man City, they play Bournemouth at home and Nottingham Forest at home. And if you're going in to those 2 fixtures with just Laporte, it's not really going to be good enough, is it? So I feel like you need it. And that's kind of what's drawing me towards Haaland rather than Kane. It's just the fact that I want to have a Man City attacker. Why? Oh, I'm not going to go over why no Cancelo again. I know it's controversial that I'm kind of in the Cancel no camp at the moment. I'm not against having Cancelo in my team. I just think that I can do, there's a million between Laporte and Cancelo. I think I can spend that 1 million quite wisely. And I don't know if Cancelo is going to be quite the FPL asset he was last season. Alex says Mahrez has the best XGI out of all of the 8 million players. Yeah, he does. The problem with Mahrez is the rotation risk. People are worried about Haaland. I completely understand why people are worried about Haaland. It's a new player coming into the Premier League. People are worried because he was injured for a part of last season as well. Yeah, it's kind of scary, right? Frederick says you can start with Kane and then go for Haaland in game week 2. Like, I don't want to book in transfers, if I'm honest. People saying, how about Haaland and Kane? Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Like, yeah, every time we do these streams, people kind of float the idea of 3 players in the premium positions, but yeah, not for me. Philip says no interest in Foden. I mean, we could do, but Foden again has that little bit of rotation risk. I mean, okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at doing a Foden draft, because I'm not against it. But is he any better than Mahrez in terms of rotation risk? So that is okay, isn't it? Yeah, that's not bad. And I feel like Foden is not an amazing FPL asset though. Amazing player, generational talent, But is he an amazing FPL option? Don't know. It's this team is actually ridiculous, isn't it? Kodak says, can you explain why you wouldn't go for 3 premiums? Okay, sure. We'll do it again. I did it yesterday, but I'll do it again. Because I know some of you guys were not here. And by the way, guys, I know this will be a question that I'm seeing a lot in the chat. So we'll answer this quickly as well, because I think there's quite a few people in here at the moment. How many people have we got? How many people have we got? Yeah, we've got 1,500 people in here. That's actually mad, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this stream. If you wouldn't mind liking the stream, I would massively appreciate that. And also, if you haven't done already, please do subscribe. I'm hoping to get 120,000 subscribers at some point over the next week or so as FPL launches. FPL is likely to launch tomorrow, I reckon. It could technically launch tonight as well, though. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened in football. But yeah, going back to the why I don't like 3 premiums. Alright, so premiums obviously take up a lot of budget. If you think about Salah versus Diaz, and this is why the kind of mistake people make a lot, people say, oh, I'm not going to go for Salah, he's so expensive, I can go for Diaz for 8 million. Why would I go for Salah at 13 million when I could go for a Diaz at 8 million? And that logic checks out. Salah is not going to score 5 million worth of points more than Diaz. It's not going to happen. Or, I mean, if it does happen, it's going to be closer. It's going to be closer. What makes a premium worth the premium price is the captaincy. The captaincy, the captaincy option. Because although we know Salah's going to score more than Diaz, you're not going to captain Diaz, you are going to captain Salah. So captaincy is the big thing that makes a player worth their money, is because, yes, Diaz might score 8 points and Salah might score 9 points in the game week, and you'll say, Salah only scored 1 more point than Diaz, but you're not going to captain Diaz. You're going to captain Salah, and Salah is going to score the double points. He's going to score you 18 points, and Diaz has scored you 8 points. It's obviously much more complicated than this, but in general, this is kind of the point. You buy the premium players, you pay the premium prices because they are captaincy options. If you fill your team with captaincy options and then don't captain them, they're not worth the money. If you've got Salah in your team, Kane in your team, Haaland in your team, and Son in your team somehow, you're spending all of this money on all these premiums, but you can only captain 1 per week, then the 3 that you're not captaining each week are not providing value for money. So look, there we go. There's a big reason. So yeah, by going for 3 premium players, you're only going to captain 1 of them at any given time, which means constantly 2 of them are not providing value for money, and the money can be spread elsewhere and spread a little bit more thinly on other fellow players that are not being captains. Now, 2 premium players is good because generally speaking, you can rotate captaincy on 2 premium players. Now, a big reason why I like combining Salah and Haaland is because they rotate on captaincy quite well. So you can see here Liverpool and Man City's fixtures. So Liverpool in game week 1, Salah would be your captain against Fulham. Then game week 2, Haaland would be your captain against Bournemouth. Game week 3 is a bit of a toss-up, but you probably go for Salah for the safety. Then game week 4, you're going to go for Salah against Bournemouth, because that's a good fixture there, better than Man City's Crystal Palace fixture. And then game week 5, you go back to Haaland against Nottingham Forest. So they rotate quite nicely. You can switch from captain to captain, and it works out quite nicely. Now, if you're planning on just perma-captaining Salah, which I wouldn't completely blame you, then there's an argument to say you don't even need 2 premium players, but you certainly don't need 3. The value of the premium players is the fact that you can captain them. Of course, this is just my opinion. I mean, if you disagree, that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. But if you're not going to captain a player, don't spend 12, 13 million on them. It's too much money. Too much money. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to end up. Like I say, this Kane, and if I go for this formation, it's the Kane and the Foden position there that could potentially be switched about a little bit. Mike Taylor says, when was the last time a forward hit over 200? Kane hit over 200 the season before last. I think a couple of players hit over 200. I think Patrick Bamford get close. I think he might have. So, yeah. Do a Gabriel Jesus draft? Nah, I really doubt Jesus is going to be in my team. ABD or Abd says, no interest in cheap United options like Sancho and Rashford? Not really. Not really, if I'm honest. People saying is FPL out? No. FPL is not out. I mean, I'm guessing it's not out. Anyway. Let me just try and log in. We'll see if it lets me log in. Two-factor authorization is out though, which is good. Okay, yeah, okay. I am on the FPL website. It's making me log in. I'll go through the process of logging in and then we'll see what happens. I mean, I know you can't see anything on screen. That is intentional. Just in case it makes me enter any passwords or anything. But I doubt it will. But just, you never know. Go on my email. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna make us stuck. I really, really, really doubt that the game is gonna it would be pretty disrespectful if they released the game before 6 p.m. because 6 p.m. they've got the Nottingham Forest price reveals. It would be pretty disrespectful if they released the game and then didn't even let you. And then they did the price reveals for Nottingham. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm trying to do two things at once. It would be really disrespectful if they released the game and then did the Nottingham Forest price reveals. So it's not going to happen. It wants me to create a new password. Am I going to do that now? Let's do a really annoying password. Oh no, actually, I'm just going to use a keychain. That's better. Yeah, let's do a keychain password. And then I'm going to add two-factor authentication. No, I do not want to receive emails about Arsenal or fantasy or anything. I don't want to know about any of this stuff. All right, so yeah, basically, it doesn't let us play the game. Yeah, it just wants you to update. You just log in and just re-log in again. All right, so yeah, that's just a waste of time. Someone's saying screen not black. There's always a couple of trolls. Yeah. Well, even if the screen wasn't black, I opened up a completely different browser anyway. So you can't see my password. I didn't type it in. I used Safari instead of Chrome, and I only have Chrome hooked up to my OBS. So nice try, you sneaky boys. But I know what I'm doing. But yeah, basically we can log in. We can't make our teams. But yeah, they're not going to release the game before doing the price reveals of the likes of Nottingham Forest. And there's another team as well, isn't there? Everton. Everton still need to be revealed, and Nottingham Forest. Craig Connick says, what's your password, mate? Yeah, right. Yeah, bloody right. Okay, let's go back to where were we? I was just on the stats page, wasn't I? Oh no, I was on this page. Right, there we go. We're back. Right. Leo is good, says FPL posted on their Facebook, ready for some new player prices this week. Thoughts? Game might release next week then. No, I think it's been confirmed that it's I think it's been confirmed that it's releasing this week, hasn't it? Didn't the Man City website confirm that it's going to release at some point this week? Oh, we got Crystal Palace too. Yeah, good point. Good point. Palace coming at Palace are coming at 2, so the end of this stream. Then they're going to do Everton, and then they're going to finish off with Nottingham Forest. So, like, surely there is no way. There is no way that they release before 6. I can see them launching shortly after 6. Maybe 8 p.m. But more realistically, it's probably going to be tomorrow. It's got to be tomorrow, right? But whatever. We'll be streaming the whole thing anyway. We'll be streaming the whole thing. But yeah, we're not quite at launch time yet, guys. I know we're all very excited to get started. I know I am as well. But we're not quite there yet. It's coming soon. But not quite yet. Zach says Tuesday 10 a.m. launch makes most sense. I would not be totally surprised. It's sometime between like 10 a.m. and lunchtime. Maybe early afternoon tomorrow. Because they're gonna. The problem is the social media and the hype and stuff like that. They're gonna run out of content, and as soon as they run out of content and hype, then they need to release the game. Because what they need to do, the whole point of doing these price reveals and stuff, is they're building the hype around the game, and they want to release the game when we're at maximum hype, when people are ready for the game, when people are excited about the game. So yeah, I can't tell you exactly when the game will be released. But some point between 6 p.m. this evening and, I don't know, 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. So, take that 24-hour slot. I don't think they'll wait till Wednesday because they've run out of content to post. It's possible they wait till Wednesday. But, surely no longer than that, man. Come on. I mean, typically when development teams release software, websites and stuff like that, Tuesdays to Thursdays are usually the days people go live on. Sometimes people go live on Mondays as well, to be fair. Fridays and weekends are pretty much write-offs. Harry says, I think you've got to think about that is also a global game. They may release at a convenient time for the majority of time zones. It's difficult to say. I mean, what are I'd be really interested to know the numbers. I know that people in England or the UK would definitely no longer the majority. There's loads of international players. I think Egypt has a huge player base. Malaysia has a huge player base. India has a huge player base. Possibly. Black Swan says they could do a countdown to a Wednesday launch. Yeah, but usually they do a surprise launch. Usually they don't give you hints to when the game is going to launch. Ant says, why do you get all the hate on Twitter, Dan? So many don't like you. I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, I do know. It's because I'm like, a lot of my tweets are kind of sarcastic, and I think sometimes I get, like, people get it twisted. I'll, like, post a tweet out saying something like I'll post a picture of, like, one of my players getting one FPL point, saying, I am the greatest FPL manager of all time, and a load of people will say, oh my god, you're so arrogant. When actually I was trying to be sarcastic, but maybe the joke didn't quite land. But also, like, I probably don't have too much of a filter on Twitter, and I mean, I don't have too much of a filter on YouTube either. To be fair, if someone says I'm making a team and it's not got Salah in it, I will say you're an absolute madman. Come on, you've got to have Salah. Whereas maybe some of the more moderate content creators will say, oh no, okay, yeah, no, like you've got to, it could work. Of course it could work. Of course I know it could work, but I think a big part of FPL is like having that banter, having that back and forth with each other. But I honestly, it doesn't bother me. Like I'm in such a good position. I'm in such a privileged position that look, how can I be upset? So it doesn't bother me. Love from Malaysia here, Dan. We've got some Nepalese flags flying about as well. I know you guys are international. It's actually crazy. But yeah, I don't know. What would be a convenient time? Because remember, the UK, I know we speak about it should be a time for everyone, But the UK time zone is pretty much in between the US, the American leagues, Canadians, Americans, South Americans. I don't think there's too much of a player base in South America and Central America so much, but certainly North America, there's a decent player base. There's a decent player base in Asia, but they're on the opposite sides. They're on opposite time zones. And then in the middle, you have the European players and the African players. There's a lot of people from Africa. So a European/African time zone release does make sense. I know that doesn't seem fair, but it kind of is in the middle. And I don't think that's because it's UK is being favoured. I just think it kind of, from a logistical standpoint, maybe somewhere around the Germany time zone would probably work. What is it, +2 or -2? I can't remember. Don't forget us Aussies. Yeah, I know, but I mean, Australians, you guys are so far from everyone. You're pretty much screwed no matter what the time zone is, right? But yeah, you can never really win, can you? You can never really win, as Count Sealer says. Someone is always going to be not 100% happy. But if we can get it at a time where at least people are awake in America and in Asia and in Europe as well and in Africa, then I think you're pretty good to go. Australians and Kiwis as well. I'm afraid you guys are always just left out of the gang. Why is your country so far away? Why is it in the middle of nowhere? Oh, it's +1 in Germany. Einar says, well, Iceland's still here. You're a similar time zone, though. You're a European time zone. I'm in Australia right now. It's 10:15 p.m. Okay, so if they did do a release at I don't know, midday, midday UK time, then depending on what area of Australia, you'd possibly still be awake. Dan says Aussies are used to it by now. Luca De Matteo says, in Australia, games start at 3 a.m. I mean, that's so crazy. How you guys keep up with Premier League action is quite mad. Please Work says 8 a.m. here in Florida. We've got New Zealand. We've got Norwegians. We got everyone up in here. Dread says, come on, it's the English Premier League. What to expect? No, come on. No, we're international. Yes, it is the English Premier League, but I actually don't like the idea of English Premier League being an English thing anymore. It's an international competition. We've got to be real. English people just make up just a small portion of the total Premier League fans. It's not just an English competition anymore. It's an international competition, and that's great. We're bringing people from all around the world into the same teams. We're all from all over the world. I can sit here as an Arsenal fan and I'll have fellow Arsenal fans from Australia, from Lebanon, from from Brazil, from everywhere. It's fantastic. People asking for a Diaz draft. I think the Diaz draft is pretty simple. You just take out Foden, you replace him with Diaz, and you just take Robertson out and go for I don't know, Tomiyasu, or you could go for Cancelo maybe and do something like that, or you could go 4 at the back and go for Tomiyasu and then upgrade one of your other players and do something like that. But I mean, I just love Robertson. I just really do love Robertson as an FPL asset. So I think I'll probably end up sticking with him, to be honest. But Diaz is definitely an option. Saish says, do you have to watch the EPL matches or stats can do the work? Some people get by on stats as well, but you don't get everything from the stats. You can get away with watching highlights. You can get away with watching, extended highlights, for example, without having to watch any live games. You don't have to watch every single game to play to play FPL well. Ayman says, I stay up until 4 a.m. just to watch Premier League football in Malaysia. That's so crazy. Ashish says, English are so arrogant, but you are the odd there. I like this about you. Yeah. Yeah, no, I actually completely agree with you. English fans, I was having a discussion on Twitter yesterday, and I tweeted out that, I'll just show you the tweet. I tweeted out basically that perhaps a reason why players from big teams in FPL are so cheap is because of the rule. It's not because of rule changes, but it's to engage a wider audience, so people can pick players that they recognise from the bigger teams. And this second tweet was particularly controversial. I said, I know fellow FPL nerds won't agree or even believe me, but trust me, with 9 million plus players from all over the globe, millions will have never even heard of the likes of Nottingham Forest or Bournemouth. And there was quite a few, particularly, it was exclusively English people saying, how can you not have heard of Nottingham Forest? Well, I mean, look, yes, Nottingham Forest won the Champions League, won the Premier League way back in the 70s. But if you are from the opposite side of the world, why would you know about a successful team from the 70s? It's so arrogant to say, people from other countries have to have heard of Nottingham Forest in the 70s. But if you ask me who were the best teams in Asia or Africa in the 1970s, I can't give you that answer. Why would I know that? Give people a chance. Not everyone is going to know all about the history of every single country, and you can't be expected to know everything. People are from all over around the world. People are different ages. FPL is for everyone at the end of the day. It's not just about one country, and there is a bit of English arrogance. People expect everyone to know everything about Bournemouth. There will be people, maybe not us guys here because we are Premier League and FPL nerds, but there's probably a few people listening right now who had never even heard of AFC Bournemouth until, they got promoted to the Premier League. And then they're like, oh, who's this team? But that's good. They're getting introduced to new teams. There we go. Another little rant for you. Oh, yeah. When we got to fill time, when we are forced to fill time, I end up ranting. But yeah, even people in the UK are not necessarily going to know all about Nottingham Forest's history because it was so long ago when they were a Premier League team. Remember, in the 1970s, Premier League football was not even being broadcasted to every country in the world. So people would have no access to that. Peter says, how big is the forest in Nottingham? It's pretty big, to be fair. It is pretty big. Ian Hackett says, Asia compared to UK football is completely different. And yes, look, I'm not going to stand here and say that we don't have some of the best football in the world in Europe, because we do, right? And we're very lucky. And perhaps you would be more expected to know about Nottingham Forest than you would, teams from other continents. Fair enough. But still, to automatically assume that everyone must know about Nottingham Forest or must know about Bournemouth, why should they? Realistically, why should they? But there we go. Joe, from Nottingham, lifelong Forest fan. I'm 18, so I've never seen the glory days. There you go. Never even seen yeah. But I mean, look, you can't help what age you are. You can't help what year you're born. And there's a snobbery around, you have to know the entire history of your football club. You don't have to. Just enjoy football. I'm a football fan. I just love football. If I didn't support Arsenal, it wouldn't be the end of the world. If someone said you can never support Arsenal again, I would still be watching all football games, Craig says, how do you not know about the Sudan teams of the 70s? Exactly. That's what you should respond. Flying Pig says, you're streaming for the Palace release. Yeah, I'm waiting till Palace release. Stephen N says, Vardy at 9.5 million is an interesting option. He still bangs them in when he's fit, and I do agree. Yeah, if you get him at the right moment, that could be phenomenal. Jeremy says, why do you favour Chilwell over, say, James or even Mount in midfield? I do worry a little bit about Mount potentially being rotation a little bit. Potentially. Kirilos says, Dan going to beat his rank this season. You heard it here first. If you think I'm going to beat a rank of 243, then you are capping. There is no way. There's no way I'm beating that. I would love it, don't get me wrong. But it's crazy. 10-day item says, how could people have not heard of Shanghai Port FC from the Costa Rican... Shanghai Port FC in the Costa Rican League? That doesn't even make sense. I mean, not that I disbelieve you. FPL Giant says, what do you think could be the reason for European football being so clear of Asian and African football in terms of quality? First of all, football, soccer, whatever you call it, wherever you are, started in Europe. So it makes sense that they've got a head start. But then after that, it's just mostly a money thing. It originated here, it got popular here first, the money was invested in here first, it started getting it broadcasted abroad and being exported from here first, made the players want to come to England, brought more money, and kind of a bit of a runaway effect that's just caused Europe to be just way ahead of everyone, even more so now than before. There was times where some of the South American leagues and some of the South American teams could genuinely compete in a European competition, but Europe has just gone so far ahead now. What teams are we... Brady says, what teams are we still waiting on for prices? We're waiting for Crystal Palace. That's coming in 30 minutes or so. We're waiting for Everton. That's going to come out at 4 p.m. And then we're going to get Nottingham Forest as the last one at 6 p.m. UK time. Zach A says, other sports are also popular in Asia, like cricket. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I mean, football is like the predominant sport in all European countries. But, to be fair, football is also the predominant sport in Africa as well. So, yeah. Tom Hall says, do you think 5 at the back would be the best way to go at the start? Yes and no. 5 at the back really restricts your flexibility, which is something I don't like. Particularly at the beginning of the season, there's argument to say you want to be a little bit fluid and able to adapt to new information, because we're going to get, the first few game weeks, we're going to get bombarded with new information all the time. New players emerging, players we didn't know too much about, players, having absolutely insane runs of form that we didn't see coming, teams overperforming, teams underperforming, good form, bad form. Things will be all over the place, and you want to be fairly liquid. You want to be fairly flexible to be able to adapt to this. We could get Dominic Solanke could score a hat-trick in his first game, 2 goals in his second game, and then suddenly we're all thinking, oh my word, how are we going to get Dominic Solanke in our team? It could be anyone. It will be a random player. It happens every season. We just get these random players that end up absolutely banging. No one saw it coming. It happens. We need to be able to easily get to these players, I think. And going for a 5 at the back formation kind of restricts you in terms of getting more midfielders and forwards. Now, in this draft, I've left 0.5 in the bank. So there's a little bit of flexibility in there. I've also got Foden, Martinelli and Neto, who I'd be willing to part ways with. And I've also got Undav on the bench there, who could be upgraded to a 6 million forward, but that's as far as he goes. And that's kind of where the problem arises from this team. It would take me 2 transfers to upgrade Undav. But who's to say that wouldn't be the case if I went for a different formation anyway? But basically, 5 at the back gives you the best value for money, but it doesn't give you the best flexibility. This team, if I had to stick with one team all season, it would probably be like something along the lines of this. Like, if you're doing just a set and forget team you thought would get the most points throughout a season, potentially you would go for 5 at the back with the current prices, right? But if you want to be flexible, and you should want to be flexible, or at least have a little bit of desire, then maybe 4-4-2 is more the way. But for the first time ever in FPL, we've pretty much got to write off a 3 at the back formation. You've got to have 4. You have to have 4, at least 4 defenders. There's no place for a 3-man defence anymore. The value is just too good there. It's just too good. Ben Philpott says, what's your realistic goal for this year? I mean, if I finish in the top 20,000 players, that would be a phenomenal season. Absolutely phenomenal season. What do I really want? Top 10,000. If I got top 10,000 again this season, I think, I think people would start taking me a little bit more seriously as a good FPL manager. If I got top 1k back to back though, that is the dream. That is the dream for me. Back to back top 1,000 finishes, which is something that very, very few people have ever done. Particularly these days, back to back top 1k finishes are basically impossible. So if I somehow by some miracle managed to pull it off, I would be like so gassed. So gassed. FPL and Songs Rob is here. Dan the man back with a big vid. I don't know if it's a big vid. Andy Martin here. It's the Twitter gang. It's the Twitter gang here. Christ almighty. Andy says, all right, Daniel, hope you're well. I'm good, Andy, mate. I'm good, thank you, mate. I'm excited. I can barely contain my excitement. Chim says, all the FPL Mate copycats furiously screenshotting right now. Oh, the gang. Kirilos says, the only dream for you should be first place. Shame on you. Like, come on, man. First place in FPL is just not realistic. No one goes into an FPL season, or unless you are really naive, no one goes into an FPL season genuinely thinking that they have a shot at first. FPL Aiden is here as well. Twitter gang, gather up. FPL Aiden, you're always here though, bro. You're basically YouTube gang at this point. Stream gang. Let's see. Sahil says, what will be your team name? I can't decide. Last year, my team was BSKA Moscow, which was kind of like when the war in Ukraine started. It was kind of like, do I really want to have a Russian team reference in my fantasy team name? Not really. So I changed it to... what did I change it to? Oh yeah, I changed it to BSKA Sofia. So it's a bit of a pun because it's like CSKA, or Suska, is the usual abbreviation for the team, but BSKA also stands for buy, sell, keep, avoid. So it's changing the C to a B to create buy, sell, keep, avoid Moscow, or buy, sell, keep, avoid Sofia, which is a reference to the series that I run on my channel, buy, sell, keep, avoid. So I thought that was a pretty fun pun, but I think I'm going to bin that off this season. I think BSKA Sofia is a little bit too niche, and it's not that funny anyway. What are the previous ones I've had, which I might go back to, was Mate Borisov. So like BATE Borisov, but MATE Borisov. Another little pun. I loved Nagoya Grampus Mate. Is my favourite ever team name I've had. But it's just like it's so niche. It's so niche. Like, who has heard of Nagoya Grampus 8? Has anyone heard of Nagoya Grampus 8? And they're not even called Nagoya Grampus 8 anymore. They're just called Nagoya Grampus. So, Nagoya Grampus Mate is still my favourite team name. But you gotta have a pun. You gotta have a pun in your team. People always go for the football name puns. Like, all right, guys, let's. We still got 25 minutes until the next price reveal, so we got a bit of time to kill. 25 minutes. Let's do some best FPL team names. What is the best FPL team name you've ever had that is like the funniest? Stephen Hughes says, yeah, Lineker played for them. Yeah, he certainly did. Arsene Wenger also managed them. Which kind of relates to Arsenal a little bit. Yeah, Lineker. Yeah, a few people saying Lineker played for him. Yeah, Andy Martin says Wenger club before Arsenal, right? Who is ringing me? I don't know. Well, I'm not going to answer that though. But yeah, it's a bit of a niche reference, but I find it funny. Right, we've got some interesting team names coming in. Some of them I am not going to read out for obvious reasons. We've got Western Bulldog says Mount Kilimanjaro. Not bad. DePaul says Desi Milan FC. I don't... Is Desi as in AC? Desi, fine. Violet says running up that hill. Very good. And Current. Not that Hill plays for Spurs. Some of these I'm just not reading. Pookie Blinders is a team name that every 10th team has. Like that's a pretty common one, Pookie Blinders. I think there was like 3 teams in the top 100 last year with the team name Pookie Blinders. Puyol Pants Down, not bad. Like some of these guys, I mean, like if you want to read the chat, guys, go ahead and read the chat. Some of these, I am not reading these out loud. I'm gonna get demonetized. You guys are gonna cost me. Candy Kane, not bad. Luke Kyle Walker. All right, yeah, nice. Vardy's nuts. Oh my god. There's a joke in there somewhere. There's a joke in there somewhere. Game of Stones. I've seen Game of Throw-ins as well. Lallana's in Pyjamas was a bit of a classic, wasn't it? Wenger's, like for Avengers. Yeah, not bad. Are You Mad? Shut the FA Cup. I think I'll get away with that on the demonetisation. I think I'll get away with that. Kyle Walker Peters. Oh, John O'Davies says, I think I will call my league Gel Hart or go home. That's not bad. Rolling the dice. We don't talk about Bruno. Not bad. Ice Cream Sundae. Back of the Neto. Yeah, that's a good one for this season with all the Neto hype. Back of the Neto. Heart La Land. Not bad. If you're into your musicals, I suppose. Alison Burgers. Not sure I get that one. 360 No Pope. I enjoy 360 No Pope. That is a big throwback to the Call of Duty games. I'm still a bit of a I still consider myself a bit of a 360 No Scope man myself. Loving it, loving it. Don't Click My Team. Not bad. Stranger Mings. Not bad. Oh, has anyone watched the Stranger... I won't do any spoilers, obviously, but anyone watched the Stranger Things finale yet? I watched both of them last night. I thought that they were going to be the final 2 episodes, though. I didn't realise they were doing another season, which is quite mad. So I was like, oh my... what? I thought they were leaving the whole thing on that massive cliffhanger. Maybe that is spoilers, but yeah. Bit of a cliffhanger at the end. They're doing another season, basically. I don't think that counts as spoilers. Chicken Tikka Mo Salah, yeah, it's a good one. It's a bit of a classic. Slumdog Mignolet was a classic as well. Fifi Foden. Sesh Fabregas. One for the ravers out there. You're gonna lose. People saying they watched it. It was good though. It was good. It was good. And a Greek name that I cannot pronounce says who is the next Bowen. I don't know who the next Bowen is. I will find them. I will find the next Bowen. Don't you worry. I don't know who they are or where they are, but I will find them. Dick McWillie in the chat says, Scottish accent, a fire pope? I feel like if I say that in an accent, one people get offended if I do accents, and 2, I don't know if it says something naughty. Dick McWillie, I never fully trust you. You're always a bit of a cheeky one in the chat. Better call Paul Pogba. Yeah, all right. It's a bit of a stretch. Better call Paul. You got to use a footballer's surname, really. I think. John says cross and in Salah. Nice. Tuckle a mockingbird. Yeah, not bad. Pronounced off your pop. All right. Debated says Chilly Willy. Nick says, you want some chicken la? I just did an accent. I'm not allowed to do accents on stream. I love doing accents, but I don't want to annoy anyone. Want some chicken la? Perisic is a defender. Yes, yeah, hell yeah. A 5.5 million defender at that is quite mad. Parv says undervalued. I like that. I like undervalued. Very good. Ayush the Hunger Canes. I don't think he's sure us. Alexander Crossard. I'm Eric Laporte. Like it. Who ate all the pie? Yeah, that was a classic. Kanye West Ham. Richarlison, are you winning? Matt Whitman says, I'm hoping Spence is 5 million. You know what? If Spence doesn't, because he's not at Nottingham, is he? The only way Spence goes into the game in the first place is if he signs for a Premier League team. So he's not. Yeah, 5 million is kind of, mate. 4.5 million is what you hope for from Jed Spence. FPL Cowboy says, have you noticed there are no 4.5 mids, Dan? Yeah, I have noticed that, but I think that's more because like a 4.5 million midfielder is not a very interesting option. So when they're doing their promo graphics and promoting like the big interesting players, they're not going to promote 4.5 million midfielders. They're not going to want to talk about 4.5 million midfielders because most people are not interested in that. Us FPL nerds are interested in those 4.5 million midfielders, but you know, they're not going to, in terms of the FPL marketing material, they're not going to put 4.5 million midfielders front and centre. They're not going to put 4.5 million forwards front and centre. They're not going to put 4 million defenders front and centre. We're not going to see very much about them. So that's why we've not seen them yet, but they're coming. They're coming. We still can't pick our teams, unfortunately. Boom Sakalaka, I like, particularly when Lacazette was at Arsenal. Mustafa says, how can I know my ranks from the past years? There should be something, if you go on the browser version, so either if you're on your phone, don't use the app, go on your web browser on your phone, or go on use a PC, use a desktop, use a laptop, and go on the website that way. There should be something that says view season history or something along those lines. And you click on that, scroll right to the bottom, and then you can see your ranks from previous seasons. Foster, good call. Nice. Better said with an Aussie accent, I guess. Tierney Henry. Evolution of Darwin. Highbrow. I'm liking it. Darwin's theory would be... You know what? Darwin's theory would be a good... If you're a Liverpool fan, you can have that one. If you're a Liverpool fan and a science nerd, I'd say that with no disrespect. I myself am a massive science nerd. If there is out there a scientist, an evolutionary scientist or a biologist who is also a Liverpool fan, who is playing FPL this season, you have to have your team name as Darwin's theory. You have to. You have to. Netflix and Chilwell is another classic team, isn't it? Haven't Joss a clue? Yeah, we've got some good names. We've got some good names. I'm imagining that we're all getting some good ideas from this stream in terms of team names, aren't we? Like, this is basically turned into the hub of researching what team names we can steal from other people. Alex says, Better Call Saul. Yeah, that's a little bit better, isn't it? As a Newcastle fan, I am Botman instead of as Batman. Yeah, kind of. G-Red says, I'm a biologist, but my team isn't Premier League. I mean, close enough. Close enough. Any Spurs ones? There's loads of ones like the containing Son, isn't there? And Kane. Son and Kane are really good for making a team name out of. Let's go through the top 100's names to see if there's any like classic ones in there. Any interest? I love Lamptey. That's a reference to Anchorman, obviously. I love Lamp. Pain in Diaz. Any other interesting puns in here? Shawberto Carlos. Don't know if I count that one. Yeah, a lot of these I don't really get. McGinn and Tonic, not bad. Gangsters Allardyce was a classic. This guy had an actually insane season. He was actually first for a lot of the season. Good old Gangsters Allardyce. There's a few Gangsters Allardyces actually. I've seen quite a few people with that team name. Nice one, Son. Yeah, not really a pun, is it? Song of Rice and Fire. Yeah, not bad. A little bit of a reference to Game of Thrones, I guess. All the books, anyway. Some of these are probably jokes that I just don't understand. Anyone seen any interesting ones? Pookie Blinders, yeah, like I say, there's a lot of Pookie Blinders about, wasn't there? The Brothers Grimsby. That's FPL Mariner. Marinate. I never know how to say that word. Is it Marina or Mariner? Marina. But Marina sounds like Marina and the Diamonds. It doesn't sit right with me. Guns and Moses, as in Victor Moses. I mean, it's a bit too much of a throwback of a player who's quite obscure. 360 No Pope. Yeah, we got our first 360 No Pope of the lot. Did I see Hala Land? No, I didn't. Did someone have Hala Land? Yeah, there's not so many. There's not so many puns here. Curious Jorginho is a good one. There, Darren Price. Curious Jorginho, very good. On to the next page. Yeah, we're running out of puns. We're running out of puns. Wait, did I even turn the page? No, I went back by accident. Oh, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Yeah, there's no more puns in here, is there? We've got no more puns. Mason Mount me. Fine, I'll give you that. Give you that. Boys Don't Kai. And at 243rd, BSKA. That's a good pun. BSKA, like CSKA, buy, sell, keep, avoid stuff. That is a good one. This guy, I don't know who this FPL mate Dan. This guy's got jokes. This guy's got jokes. Schmeichel Jackson is a good one. Yeah, I've not heard of that. We'll put my authority back on screen. We've got 12 minutes until I can finally go and get some food. I have not actually eaten today. Why have I not eaten? Arte says, is there any possible puns with Simicassim? You could go... I'm sure there's a few. Don't know. Dude, where's my Sa? Flight Cancelo, not bad. Hatsune Michu. Oh my word. The thing is, Violet Citizen, no one is going to understand that. No one in this entire chat is going to understand the reference to Hatsune Michu. Like, not only an obscure, like, a fictional character, I guess, but also an obscure player in Michu. The full Mountie. Gabby FC equals Arsenal. Yeah, I mean, that's so true. We've got so many Gabbies. We've got Gabbies everywhere. Simmy my points. As in, gimme my points. Smee a man after... I don't know. We are kind of stretching. We're reaching a little here. Control Alt Delete. Yeah, that's a classic. Used to be Control Alt Delete, didn't it? Arsenal needs Jesus. Very good. Sima Kashmir. Don't really. I don't know if that's good enough. Climbing Mount Everest. That is so convoluted, but I love it. Oh, I love it. Are you Kane's son? Not bad. Simicast Stevens? What is that? Is that like Shaken Stevens? Pookie Mac? Malaysians will understand this. I hope I didn't just say something terrible. Shaka Your Booty? Ramsey a shout ahead of Neto? That's not a very good team name. No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, you could go for Ramsey ahead of Neto. I just quite like Neto. On your Edison. That's very good. On your Edison. Very, very nice. Cost us a lot. Oh, cost us a lot is quite good. Or cost us nothing, maybe. Rising Sun is good if you're Japanese, but then you're using a Korean player's name. Costas Coffee, not bad. Ardy says mine was Show Me the Mane last year. That was a pretty popular name as well, wasn't it? Robbing a bank. How did you make a draft? This is not a real draft. I'm just using a third-party website. It's not my real team. You are my sunshine. Oh, Rune Simicas. Wait, I don't get the. I played RuneScape. I don't understand the pun. I just like the way it says Rune. Bruce Lee. Right, you're gonna have to explain that pun to me. Rune Simicas. Where is the RuneScape pun there? I want to know. I like obscure puns. I like obscure references. Sons of Anarchy. Yeah, not bad. Sons of Danarchy. Sanaldo. Postman Pato. Not bad. Scimitar. Oh, it's meant to be like Simicast Scimitar. Simicast does not sound enough like Scimitar. No way. Caleb says, do you watch any anime? Yes, I do. I watched a lot of anime. A lot of anime. Too much anime. Now you Simicast, now you don't. I think that's a little bit too long. I don't know if that's gonna. I don't think that's gonna fit in the name. It's not bad. Rune, yeah, okay. It was a Rune Scimitar wet reference. Nah, Simicast is not close enough to Scimitar. I like the ambition there though. Reese's Set Pieces, I like that. Silence of Lamptey is good. Are you guys getting bored of these, or should we just keep going? I mean, we've only got 5 minutes left, I guess. Martinelli Furtado, nice. Me, Myself, and Ibe was good, but now neither me nor Ibe play in the Premier League. Dele Allison? No, I'm not having that one. David says, what's your favourite Shonen era anime? I guess either Full Metal Alchemist or Code Geass. Gimme Sevsky? I don't get that. Nishal says he's bored. He's bored. No more names. Zaha price predictions. I mean, I don't know, like. Maybe 7.5. I mean, no one's really going to get him at 7.5, are they? But like, Crystal Palace could have a really good season. I think I'm enjoying the Crystal Palace project. I think it could be okay. Jandre says, Dan is the second highest scoring forward last season. What's your thoughts on CR7 at 10.5? I think it's a good price. I'm not fully convinced on going for United players right away. Like CR7, like he could even play for someone else by game week 1, you know. He's been offered to like, he was offered to like Chelsea, wasn't he? He wants to leave. David says, Full Metal Alchemist. Oh, when I say Full Metal Alchemist, I do mean Brotherhood, of course. FMA or Code Geass, a man of culture. Indeed, my friend. Indeed. Count Sealor Zaha says Zaha at 4.5 mid. Gotta be. Yeah, surely. FPL Giant says Zaha expected neck tattoos this season. Oh, he will have a very high amount of neck tattoos. Don't worry about that. Darwin's theory of Ev delusion. That's the bit. I mean, is that like delusional Liverpool fans reference maybe? I don't know. I like Darwin's theory as like a... Is okay. Oh, red party hat. I like it. I like it. Do you like Hunter x Hunter? Well, yeah, I think you just say Hunter x Hunter, don't you? Yeah, I do. I do like Hunter x Hunter, but it's kind of really kind of the way I just wish I just wish they would complete it. I really just want Hunter x Hunter to be completed because it's such a good anime. Just complete it. Tell us a song. Stranger Mings. We've had Stranger Mings. Rohan says Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Code Geass aren't shonen. They're military. No, they're definitely in the shonen genre. Well, they're not seinen, are they? They're definitely shonen. Like, both of the characters are teenagers. The main characters are teenagers. They're shonen anime. They are kind of military-ish, though, I guess. Yuri Wizard Harry. That's not bad. What about Attack on Titan? Yeah, I do like Attack on Titan, to be fair. But I wouldn't say it's my favourite ever anime. But I watch a lot. So it's definitely something I watch. Ninja Skirtles is a classic. Hallelujah, not bad. Tell us a story, nice. Thoughts on Rashford as an option? Depends if you place. Stefan says watch One Piece. No, I mean I didn't start One Piece at the beginning, and I'm way too far behind at this point. I just know I'm never gonna be able to complete One Piece. I mean, no one's ever gonna be able to complete One Piece because it refuses to end. I'm a sucker for Sword Art Online. I like the first few seasons of that. Spy Family, I don't know. I don't know. I've not watched that. How I Met Your Mother, not bad. You know what? I want to see more anime references in FPL team names. Can anyone come up with an anime team name that combines an anime pun with a football player? Ubean says, have you ever watched Gintama? No, I have not, but it's kind of on the list, but I don't know if I'll like it. Changed Name was popular last season. Yeah, it was. Very popular. In fact, Changed Name was the most popular. Every year it's the most popular team name. Ian Nacho Cheese, like it. Black Clover was great. I've not watched that. The OG says anime so bad. I mean, you can think it's bad if you want. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are saying, oh, FPL is bad, but we don't agree with them. Ching Cho and Cho says welcome. Is joined as a member. Yeah, guys, if you want to join as a channel member, you can. It's 99p, so just under £1 a month. That is literally the cheapest. YouTube would let me set the membership price because I don't want it to be a money-making thing. I don't make money really from the memberships on this channel. Well, I do a little bit. You know, I like £50 or something a month, which is not life-changing my money, I guess. But obviously, I massively appreciate it. But it's not a money-making scheme. It's just if you want to have your name highlighted in the chat, and if you want to have custom emojis, so I've got loads of emojis that you can use, but only if you're a member. I just wanted to give you access to them as cheap as literally as cheap as I can. But yeah, you can join the channel. Cancel anytime. There's a button that says join somewhere on your screen right now. And now, just before we get the price reveals for Crystal Palace, we are going to read out some anime-themed puns. Pokeson, Hiro Sakamura, One Punching Man, not nice. One Punch Botman, nice. Inazuma Benteke, I'm not sure I get that one. Uchiharito, Madara, no, yeah, nice bad. You know what? It's kind of difficult. Hotel Tiago is a good one. It's kind of difficult to do an anime one, isn't it? Yeah, we've got some of the members flexing those emojis. New emojis coming. Yeah, we'll do some new emojis. I don't know who to add in. I think we'll probably, because I can only have a certain amount. The more members we have, the more emojis we're allowed. But whilst the amount of members kind of stagnates, I have to remove players. Remove emojis to add emojis. I'll probably remove the Bruno Fernandes one because I don't think many people will be talking about him. We'll remove Maxwell Cornet because that's a bit of a dead meme now. We'll keep the clown. We'll keep the Dorito of Death. We'll keep the Blackcurrant Squash. We'll keep Morpay because he's just a classic. I don't know. Monkey D Doofy. Get a troll emoji. We've got the clown emoji though. I kind of feel like that. The clown emoji kind of covers the troll emoji. I mean, and Morpay is arguably the troll emoji as well. Catalyst123, thank you very much for becoming a member, my friend. Kamehame Haaland. Yeah, okay, that's good. We still got no price reviews. Brady's delivery service. Is that like Kiki's delivery service? Surely you can do better than that. Is there a player that sounds like Kiki in the Premier League? I still think, I know Hatsune Miku is technically not anime, but Hatsune Miku is still my favourite anime reference. My Hero Akinfenwa, bit of a stretch. Yeah, maybe. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What's up with your Morpay thing? Oh, this is a really old meme on this channel, like back when this channel was a little bit smaller. Basically, Morpay, like, I had him in my team and I refused to sell him, and every single Crystal Palace have it on their on their page apparently. But yeah, every week I would refuse to sell Morpay. I was convinced he would come good, and every game he got 2 or 1 points until I eventually sold him. And at that point, wait, no, I want the proper one. I want this ugly website. I want the graphics. Unless they've oh no, they've not done the graphic yet. Still, all right. Let's just look at the website, the Palace website then. Oh, can you guys read that? I guess that's okay. All right. Vicente Guaita, 4.5 million. I mean, yeah, that's actually really good. That's actually a really good price. Tyreek Mitchell, Martin Guehi, Joachim Anderson. Yeah, we're not gonna get these players in at 4.5, are we? Like, it's like, again, the situation where we've got so many players coming in defense at 4.5 that we're not going to go for them. Cowboy Meebop, not bad. Mobile Suit Gundogan, I like. Will Hughes, 5 million, no. Eberechi Eze, 5.5 million. And Elise, 5. That's a good price. Oh my word, Mateta at 5.5 as well. Because Mateta should be pretty nailed up. I kind of like Mateta at 5.5. Zaha's coming in at... These prices, guys... Oh, Palestine, Sam Johnson, Guaita's not safe. Yeah, good point. But in general, I like these. I like these prices a lot. I am really, really considering some of these. Like, straight away... Mateta at 5.5. What are the fixtures like for Crystal Palace? They're not great. Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Man City, Brentford. But like, if you're not convinced by Dennis Undav, Mateta as an option, it's a possibility. It's not quite as exciting as Undav, but it's a possibility. Elise at 5.5, you know, if you're not convinced by Neto and you think Michael Elise is going to get a good amount of game time, he is an option. Edouard 5.5, I'm not completely convinced by. Elise is obviously not completely nailed, but he is first choice, but I wouldn't say he's nailed. Tompkins at 4 million, is he going to play? Probably not, to be honest. It's going to be Guehi and Anderson. They're going to be the two main centre-backs. Gross in the shell, not bad, not bad. My Hero Academia. You're really reaching now. Eze or Elise? I do prefer Elise. They're good, both good players, but I think Elise is just such a magical player. But yeah, a few prices I really like. I really like on here. Dally Paul says, Dan, the only FPL content I use and is needed are yourself, Andy, Ben Crellin, but I do detect a little heat. Oh wait, I'm not going into that. De Jong Sheldon, De Jong Sheldon. I'm a big fan of that. Not as much as a fan I am of these prices though. Like Zaha at 7 million is not the worst. Like where did he rank in terms of midfielders last season? I'm sure Zaha was not that low. Yeah, there we go. So he's in a similar region to. I mean, he's not quite Saka, Mount, Bowen, obviously Kulusevski, obviously Diaz. He's not quite there, but he's $1 million cheaper than those players. You know, $1 million cheaper than Mahrez and Foden. Similar price to Barnes. You'd say Rafinha is probably, you know, depending on where he ends up. To be fair, that's an interesting one. This is a really interesting one. Because Rafinha, obviously, is likely to move clubs, possibly to a Premier League club. But they're going to have to price him up tomorrow. The game's going to launch tomorrow, right? Well, we think it's going to release tomorrow. If FPL drops tomorrow and Rafinha is still on the books at Leeds, they're going to have to price him up as if he was a Leeds player, which means they're going to have to price him up. I mean, based on the fact that he's scored last season around similar points to Zaha, similar points to Barnes, and he plays for a team that nearly got relegated, they're going to have to price him up at 7 million, 7.5 at the max. Now, I know everyone's saying he's going to go to Barcelona. But I'm just saying if. If he goes to Chelsea, if he goes to Arsenal, if he goes for another team, I don't know. If he goes to a Premier League team and a big Premier League team and he comes in at 7.5 million, 7 million, 7.5 million, a bargain would have just emerged. A real bargain would have emerged. I don't think they'll put him at 8 million. Surely not. Like, that would just be ridiculous if they priced him at 8 million. They can't. Base Robin, thank you very much for becoming a member of the channel. I really appreciate that. Doku LC. Nice. Yeah. Can we get the graphic now? I want to see the pretty fancy graphic. They run out of budget. Did they run out of budget for these amazing graphics? They did. They run out of budget. They got quite far, but they run out of budget. Catalyst says he said he would stay at Leeds till his contract runs out if he can't go to Barca this season. Okay, I've not read that, but I mean, if that's true, it's true. He does dream of Barcelona, though. That much is true. Zaha at 7 million and on penalties. Bye. I know, but like, he's such a troll player. Right, guys, let's wrap it up. Because there is a small chance that FPL launches later, and if so, I might have to come back on stream. I need to have a break and get some food and have a shower and do stuff. So yeah, I'm going to take a break. I don't think FPL will launch tonight, but if it does, I will stream it. But definitely tomorrow. I don't know for sure that FPL is going to be launched, but at 10 a.m. UK time tomorrow, I'm going to stream all day. If FPL has not launched by then. In fact, either way, I'm going to stream all day tomorrow. I say all day. I don't know how many hours, but I'll start at 10 a.m. and I'll go unless FPL launches earlier, in which case I'll start earlier. But we'll do like a launch party stream and we'll go on for a few hours and we'll just chat. We'll chat about everything. We'll rate some of your teams. We'll talk about some of you guys' teams. We'll look at all of the cheaper players. We'll look at so much. We'll just have a day of fun FPL obsession. We're just going to have a blast. So hopefully, guys, if this does happen, if FPL does launch tomorrow, you guys will join me and we're going to have a massive stream and it's going to be wicked. And yeah, we'll make it an event. I might even buy some balloons for the occasion. I don't know. Not those kind of balloons, for those of you who are thinking in that way. But there we go, guys. Make sure you like the stream before you disappear, please. It really does help out the channel so much and helps push the content out to new people. Please do subscribe if you're new around here. Particularly make sure you've put notifications on if you want to be notified when I start my stream tomorrow. You'll get a notification. It will come up on your phone when we start streaming. And you can join the fun for the launch party tomorrow. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So yeah, thanks again. Another wonderful, fun and interesting stream. I'm really enjoying doing these streams, guys, every day. And I really appreciate you guys joining me as well. But that's pretty much it, guys. So thank you once again for watching. And I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.